Ding Hong and his team, including Zhu and Hu Yang, headed to the location where the rank 13 black claw ants were. Ding Hong mentioned that these ants had a high crystal production rate. He then tasked Zhu and Hu Yang with being the bait, while he and his team would surround and eliminate the ants. Zhu playfully teased Hu Yang about still being the bait, leading to a humorous gesture from Hu Yang. As Zhu and Hu Yang prepared to lure the ants, Ding Hong reminded them to lure them one by one, as they couldn't handle many at once. Later, a giant ant started chasing Zhu and Hu Yang. They raced back towards Ding Hong's team, prompting Ding Hong to order his team to attack the ant. During the confrontation, the ant targeted one of the team members and knocked them to the ground. Zhu intervened by jumping into the air and using the skill stun to incapacitate the ant. With the ant temporarily subdued, Ding Hong instructed his team to finish it off. That night, they set up camp inside a cave and grilled the ant meat they had obtained. One of the team members commented on their successful loot for the day. Ding Hong approached Zhu and offered him a skewer of ant meat, encouraging him to taste it. Zhu hesitated but eventually took a bite and was pleasantly surprised by its delicious flavor. Ding Hong shared that he had also been surprised the first time he tried it. The team member who had been saved by Zhu expressed gratitude and mentioned how amazing the stun attack had been. Another member asked Zhu about his unique martial technique and wondered if it could be used against higher-ranked beasts. Zhu admitted that he hadn't tried it on higher-ranked creatures but believed it could at least break their defenses. Ding Hong agreed and encouraged the team to eat, rest, and prepare for the challenges of the next day. The next morning, they repeated their strategy of luring the ants one by one until they defeated them all. As night fell, they returned to their camp inside the cave. The team members noticed that today's loot was even greater than yesterday's. One of them expressed the desire to exchange it for the latest equipment from the Metapro company once they returned to the city. They all thanked Zhu and Hu Yang for their valuable contributions to the hunt. Ding Hong then approached Zhu and asked if he had some free time to chat. They stepped outside, and Ding Hong inquired if Zhu had recently arrived in the burial area and where his hometown was. Zhu replied that he was from Titan City. Ding Hong mentioned that he had heard of Titan City and explained that the burial area would soon open roads connecting major cities, emphasizing the importance of integration in the future. He envisioned a time when martial artists from all over the world could meet. Ding Hong then asked Zhu about the effectiveness of his stun skill against other martial artists. Zhu, with a smile, challenged him, asking if he wanted to give it a try. Without hesitation, Zhu used his stun skill on Ding Hong, instantly rendering him unconscious. After a while, Ding Hong woke up with a startled expression, contemplating how incredible it was. He realized that during the time he had been unconscious, Zhu could have easily harmed him without any chance to defend himself. Zhu asked Ding Hong if the effect was satisfactory and what should be their next steps in their training or adventures. 3 days later, the burial area airship landed, and Zhu and Hu Yang were bidding farewell to Ding Hong and his team. As Zhu and Ding Hong shook hands, Ding Hong expressed his gratitude for their assistance over the past few days and mentioned that they would part ways there. He wished Zhu good luck and departed with his team. After Ding Hong left, Hu Yang asked Zhu why does he feel like they were keeping some secrets. Zhu replied, "I did something for him." Hu Yang chuckled and commented that Ding Hong wasn't simple, asking if Bright Shadow's team leader had requested something from Zhu. Zhu confidently responded, "Before I agreed to it, do you think I didn't investigate?" He revealed that Bright Shadow was the 13th ranked team in the burial area. Hu Yang was shocked that Zhu was already aware of whom they were dealing with. Zhu explained that because Ding Hong had such a significant identity, it made their collaboration more meaningful. Zhu bid farewell to Hu Yang, commending him for their work together over the past few days and telling him to call if he ever needed assistance. Zhu returned to his building, took a shower, and lay down on his bed. He thought about Shihan and wondered what she was doing. Before falling asleep, he got up, opened his inventory system, and reviewed all the materials he had acquired during their last journey. The next morning, Zhu headed to the empty warehouse in the Haiyang building. He thought to himself, nobody really visits this place. With a leap, he landed on the roof and summoned his dagger, realizing it could be a good spot for hatching eggs. Zhu used his dagger to break some parts of the roof, allowing light to enter the abandoned warehouse. Afterward, Zhu arranged the hatching vines inside the building and carefully placed his dragon egg on them. He marveled at how difficult it was to see inside the egg. He gently touched the egg and said, "Now, the rest is up to you. Work hard to hatch." Zhu's level had reached 74, but he noticed that despite the significant level increase, his martial artist rank had been stuck at rank 7 for quite some time. To improve his martial artist rank, Zhu went to the training center of the martial artists. At the same location, Advisor Qin and his associates, including Shihan, were conducting some business. Other martial artists at the center were discussing Zhu, noting that he was only rank 7 and yet he dared to challenge the war-bone white tiger. Qin reassured the businessmen not to worry about the quality of the beast. Then the businessmen thanked him before saying goodbye. Qin turned to Shihan, saying, "You rejected me so many times. Today, you should give me face, no matter what." Before Shihan could respond, Qin became angry and started yelling at her, saying, "So what if you have a boyfriend? Don't be arrogant. I want to be flirtatious with you, but you disappoint me." One of Qin's men came from behind and grabbed Shihan. Qin forcefully took her hand, An assistant working there asked Qin to please consider the surroundings, but he angrily replied, "Buzz off. Even your manager needs to give me face. Who the hell do you think you are?" The assistant was left speechless. As Qin started dragging Shihan, Zhou suddenly emerged from the training room, having reached the rank 8 martial artist. The assistant asked him if he was alright, and he requested some hemostatic medicine. Then, seeing Qin forcibly dragging Shihan, Zhou didn't hesitate. He jumped at Qin, bringing him to the ground, and delivered a powerful punch to his face. Zhou firmly held Shihan's hands, reassuring her not to be afraid because he was there to protect her. Qin, feeling provoked, stood up and angrily confronted Zhou, saying, "You're asking for trouble." Zhou, seething with anger, retorted, "Qin Tiannan, you dare to lay a hand on my woman. Who do you think you are?" Qin couldn't shake off those words from his mind, and his anger grew even stronger. His companions quickly joined him, and Qin ordered them to capture Zhou so they could torture him after they left the city. Shihan, filled with fear for Zhou, urged him to escape. With a sinister grin, Zhou grabbed his 2 daggers and unleashed his combo flash skill. In an instant, he teleported to the man rushing at him and swiftly killed him with a powerful slash. Everyone was shocked when Zhou killed the man. One of them commented that the law enforcement team wouldn't let him off. Qin started laughing at Zhou, telling him he was in big trouble. Shihan, feeling scared, urged Zhou to run away and escape Burial City, returning to Titan City. Zhou patted her head, assuring her that nothing would happen. Then, Zhou began to play with his dagger as he approached Qin. He mocked Qin, saying he felt sorry for his underling. Qin, being too scared, questioned himself, "Why am I scared of just a rank 8? Zhou, with incredible speed, dashed in all directions, creating afterimages. Qin grabbed his sword, ready to confront Zhou. However, he soon realized he couldn't even see Zhou's movements. Zhou swiftly struck Qin with his dagger, injuring him. Qin lay on the ground, pleading with Zhou not to kill him. The law enforcement team arrived, ordering Zhou to put down his weapons. Zhou closed the distance between himself and Qin, taunting him about why he didn't kill him right away. He leaned in close to Qin's ear and whispered, "Because I want you to see hope first, then send you into despair." At that moment, Zhou revealed his C-rank authority, mentioning that he could get rid of his crime by paying a punishment fee. But then, Zhou surprised everyone by revealing his A-rank authority. This meant that even if he had killed people, he didn't need to pay the punishment fee. The law enforcement team immediately stopped interfering with Zhou. Qin begged for his life, but Zhou didn't care. With an evil expression, Zhou told him to meet his end and killed him. The law enforcement team removed Qin's lifeless body from the scene, leaving everyone in shock by their actions. Among the onlookers, a martial artist with a concealed face followed Zhou. He remarked, "Zhou Zheng, you finally arrived at the burial area. Excellent, very excellent." Afterwards, Zhou and Shihan went to his building. Inside, Shihan began to bandage Zhu's wound. While she worked, she apologized, saying, "It's all because of me." Zhou reassured her, "I got this wound from somewhere else. Qin Tian isn't that strong." Curious, Shihan asked if Zhou really had an A-rank authority. Zhou gently held her hand and replied, "Of course, otherwise, why do you think people would give me Haiyang building?" With a sad expression, she mentioned, "But Han Zhengdong clan leader told me to come here and learn from this tamer. I am afraid it's not possible now." Zhou patted her head comfortingly, saying, "Don't worry, with my authority, it's easy to find a better tamer to teach you. Besides treating my wound, is there anything else you want to do?" Shihan blushed, and then playfully hit Zhou on his wound, asking, "What are you thinking about?" Zhou winced in pain and asked, "Why did you hit me? My wound might reopen." 3 days later, Zhou got a mission from Ding Hong, the leader of the Bright Shadow team. Zhou was on a rooftop, getting ready. He raised his dagger bloodthirsty and adjusted it to 70% conductivity for the mission. Their goal was to get some money from Haitian Company. It's important to note that Haitian, also known as Fur Seal, had sent his men to try to kill Zhou before. And so Zhou jumped to sneak into the Haitian Company without realizing that a martial artist with a half-covered face from the Martial Artist Training Center was silently tailing him. Zhou jumped down, and the martial artist noticed him vanish. Zhou then activated stealth mode and began his ascent to the 57th floor of the company building. On the 57th floor, Zhou encountered a massive vault door guarded by security personnel. One of the guards asked his colleague, Lao Yang, about the contents of the vault and the heightened security measures. Lao Yang replied that he only knew it was important but attributed the heightened security to the CEO's caution. He added that stealing from the vault would require something as drastic as bombing the place. Zhou reached the 57th floor and observed 3 rank 11 martial artists and 1 rank 10 among the guards. Recognizing the situation, Zhou devised a familiar plan. He destroyed a nearby mirror to attract their attention. One of the martial artists ordered Lao Yang and Senzai to investigate the broken mirror. When they approached, they discovered the shattered glass. Seizing the opportunity, Zhou leaped at them and used a stun technique to immobilize them. The 2 remaining martial artists guarding the vault grew concerned as Lao Yang and Senzai hadn't returned for a while. While one of them checked his communication device, Zhou swiftly employed his stun technique, incapacitating both guards. As Senzai began to regain consciousness, he found himself face to face with the masked martial artist, who emitted a strange laugh. With a swift move, the masked martial artist killed Senzai, causing blood to splatter. He chuckled, remarking how amazing it was, and then rushed towards the vault door. After making a hole in the vault door big enough for him to enter, Zhou was astonished by what he found inside. The vault was filled with various star crystals, including the coveted orange ones, which were the second highest grade. He marveled at the abundance of wealth, thinking that Hai-Tian Company must be incredibly rich. Excited, Zhou opened his inventory system to collect some crystals. However, just as he was about to do so, the masked martial artist arrived behind him. Channeling his aura, the masked martial artist remarked that he needed to make things more challenging for Zhou. He then smashed the vault door, creating a deafening noise. Zhou realized that the noise would surely attract other guards, so he quickly started to dash away. As he did, a powerful ranged attack slashed in front of him. Zhou narrowly avoided it by dashing backward. To his astonishment, it was Yang Liu, a formidable martial artist from Burial Area with the Code 43's expert. Zhou had checked information about him earlier and knew he was a force to be reckoned with. Yang Liu noticed that all the guards were knocked out, and the vault was destroyed. He commented that Zhou, a mere rank 8, had caused all of this chaos and called him "You're not simple." Zhou attempted to use his combo flash and slash, but Yang Liu easily saw through his speed. In a surprising turn of events, Yang Liu managed to block Zhu's attack, something no one had done before. Yang Liu warned Zhou that he was seeking death. Before Zhou could complete his stun skill, Yang Liu unleashed a powerful punch, sending Zhou flying. He then pointed out that Zhou, while fast, had underestimated the abilities of a high-rank martial artist. Coughing and still reeling from the earlier punch, Zhou found himself face to face with Yang Liu, who asked him a serious question. Yang Liu inquired if Zhou knew why Hai-Tian Company had the audacity to store items in this vault. With a determined expression, Yang Liu added, "Because I'm here." He channeled his star power into his sword and lunged at Zhou with the intent to kill. The force of Yang Liu's attack was so immense that it shattered the wall behind Zhou. Fortunately, Zhou managed to evade it just in time. He then activated his stealth skill, effectively disappearing from sight. Yang Liu couldn't comprehend how Zhou had managed to escape in such a short span of time. Yang Liu pointed out that despite Zhou being only rank 8, he was not to be underestimated, and Yang Liu felt like he had seen him before. Yang Liu then checked Zhu's information on his communication device, discovering that Zhou was an expert from Burial Area number 77. Yang Liu also noted that Zhou had jumped from rank 7 to 8 in a remarkably short time, indicating rapid growth. Hai-Tian was furious that Zhou had already taken his Hai Yang building and dared to provoke him again. While the martial artists were working to resolve the situation, Zhou remained nearby, using his stealth mode. However, the wound inflicted by Yang Liu was becoming unstable, and Zhou needed to act quickly. Zhou began moving slowly toward the room he had originally entered from. However, he couldn't hide the fact that he was coughing up blood even in stealth mode. A nearby martial artist noticed the blood on the floor, prompting Hai-Tian and Yang Liu to investigate. Yang Liu realized that the nearby room's door was open, deducing that Zhou had gone inside. When they entered the room, they found Zhou, who had created a hole in the wall to escape. Hai-Tian was enraged and demanded that Zhou hand over the stolen items in exchange for sparing his life. Yang Liu approached Zhou, warning him that he had nowhere to run. Confidently, Zhou challenged them, asking if they really thought they could capture him like this. In response, Hai-Tian intervened, telling Zhou that if he dared, he should jump from the room. As Zhou prepared to jump, Yang Liu threw his sword and tried to grab Zhou but missed. Zhou leaped from the room, and Hai-Tian ordered Yang Liu to pursue him at any cost, even if it meant bringing back his lifeless body. As Zhou descended through the air, he summoned his flying wings from his system inventory, successfully escaping their grasp. Later, Zhou found a spot on a tree branch and contacted Zai, the leader of the 7TM team. He explained that he had encountered some problems. Zai was surprised and wondered why Fifth Brother, Zhu's codename, possessed a communication device with an expert rank. Curious, Zai inquired about the nature of the problem. Zhu replied that he couldn't go into detail because of his injuries, but he needed Zai to gather the other brothers and come to the Hai Yang building to help him fend off the people from Hai-Tian Company. Zai assured Zhu that he would handle the situation. Zhu also reached out to Shen for assistance. Later, in front of the Hai Yang building, Hai-Tian, accompanied by his men and Yang Liu, sought to enter the building to locate Zhu. However, Zai and his team were already there, guarding the entrance. Zai firmly declared that nobody, regardless of their identity, was allowed to enter, warning that trespassers would be met with deadly force. Yang Liu, angered by this statement, called Zai arrogant. It's important to note that expert-rank martial artists, also known as special envoys, held supreme authority despite not having specific duties. Zai was taken aback to see a special envoy among Hai-Tian's martial artists. Yang Liu offered them one final opportunity to step aside, but Zai retorted that even as a special envoy, Yang Liu was not superior to the armed forces. Yang Liu decided to contact the armed forces but was taken aback when he learned that clan leader Shen had authorized Team Number 7 to protect the Hai Yang building. This turn of events was all part of Zhu's plan. Furious, Yang Liu informed Hai-Tian that they should leave the scene, warning that they would see how well the armed forces could protect him once they were in the wilderness. Meanwhile, Zhu found refuge in a building, tending to his wounds from Yang Liu's attack. He remarked on the prowess of an expert rank martial artist, acknowledging that if his body hadn't been strengthened by data, he might have perished. He then summoned the system's tree skills. At level 74, Zhou noted that if he could reach levels 75 and 80, defeating Yang Liu wouldn't be impossible. Next to Zhou, there were various levels of the metal complex he had retrieved from Hai Tian's vault. The mission he had received from Ding Hong was to recover these metals. Later on, Zhou met with Ding Hong to complete his mission. He wore a hooded cloak to conceal his identity and handed over the complex metals. In return, Ding Hong rewarded Zhou with some orange crystals. Before departing, Ding Hong offered his assistance if this matter brought any trouble to Zhou. With a confident smile, Zhou reassured him, saying that he could handle any challenges. Moments later, Zhou visited an equipment store and came across a masterpiece armor that could withstand attacks from some expert rank martial artists. Zhou then approached the assistant, informing her that he had valuable materials to sell and inquired if he could speak with the store owner. The scene shifted to Hai Tian, who was frustrated after many days had passed without finding Zhou. He turned to Yang Liu and scolded him for their fruitless search, remarking that they were wandering aimlessly. Hai Tian questioned whether Yang Liu's expert authority could locate Zhou's whereabouts. Yang Liu, while lighting a cigarette, replied that his special authority rank didn't possess such tracking capabilities. He continued, mentioning that he knew someone who had the authority but emphasized that making such a request came at a high price. 3 days later, Zhou confronted a 6-meter poison zombie, the same one that he and Team 7 had encountered before. Zhou had purchased the armor capable of blocking attacks from expert rank martial artists, and was eager to put it to the test. When the poison zombie attacked Zhou, he stood his ground, and the armor successfully blocked the attack. Zhou remarked that standard damage like that posed no threat to him. He then leaped forward and delivered a precise strike to the zombie's neck. Afterward, he dashed to the roof of a nearby ruined building. This action helped him reach level 75 and unlock a new skill called Blind. This skill had the ability to temporarily impair a target's vision for 10 seconds. There was also a 10% chance that it could extend to an additional 5 seconds, and it didn't remove the stealth buff. Zhou activated his stealth mode and used the blind skill on the giant poison zombie. A blind mark appeared above the zombie's head. To his astonishment, the blinded zombie began attacking and killing the other nearby zombies. What puzzled Zhou was that he started gaining experience points from the zombies killed by the blinded one. Confused but intrigued, Zhou contemplated whether this was some form of control skill, effectively making the poison zombie his puppet. With a confident smile, Zhou resolved to level up quickly to reach level 80, recognizing that it wouldn't be a difficult task if this newfound ability was at his disposal. 4 days later, Zhou continued employing his strategy, using the blind skill on other zombies to gain experience points. Through this method, he reached level 79. At this point, he decided to call Shihan to check on her and offer an apology for the delay. He expressed concern about her well-being, and she tearfully replied, asking where he was. Zhou reassured her that he was currently outside but would return in a few days. Shihan was overjoyed that he was safe and informed him that his friends had been protecting her at the Haiyang building. Zhou praised his dependable brothers and advised her to listen to them during this time. Curious, Shihan inquired why they couldn't reunite and go back to Titan City. Zhou cautioned against such a move, explaining that expert rank pursuers could track them down even in Titan City. Meanwhile, Hai Tian and Yang Liu sought assistance from someone named Luo Tian, codenamed 9, an expert rank martial artist who claimed to have successfully pinpointed Zhou's location. He explained to Hai Tian and Yang Liu that if Zhou used his communication device, he could trace it, emphasizing that the rest depended on their actions. Hai Tian expressed his gratitude to Luo Tian for discovering Zhou's location and rewarded him with a complex medal with a penetration value of 15. Luo checked the medal and expressed satisfaction with their cooperation, stating that his part was done. After bidding them farewell, Luo left the scene. Following Luo's departure, Hai Tian ordered his men to assemble the Fire Lave team, Sky Sword team, Shatter Bass team, and Sky Hammer team with the intent of hunting down Zhou. Meanwhile, Zhou was busy using his elf bow to eliminate zombies. He remarked on the continued usefulness of the elf bow, particularly due to its penetration value of 5 arrows. While Zhou was preoccupied with dispatching zombies, 3 young men observed him from a distance. Their leader, Bei Yang, discussed the potential value of the footage they were recording, believing it could boost the prices of bow and arrow weapons in the burial area. One of them speculated on Zhou's predicament, as he seemed to be surrounded by poison zombies. Another suggested that despite Zhou's strength, he might be overwhelmed. Suddenly, a massive horde of zombies appeared. Zhou was on the verge of reaching level 80 when he noticed Bei Yang and his companions filming him. Zhou realized that he couldn't use his stealth or access his system inventory in their presence. To escape, Zhou decided to jump to the opposite side. Bei Yang's companions were perplexed by his actions, with one wondering if Zhou intended to leap over the zombie horde. Bei Yang considered the possibility and eagerly prepared to film the spectacle. Zhou stood poised, focusing his energy. At the right moment, he employed the chasing wind skill to move at incredible speed. Bei Yang and his companions were astonished by Zhou's velocity. Using his speed, Zhou leaped over the zombie horde, employing a combo skill called Flash Slash to teleport to one of the zombies on the other side. From there, he used the zombie as a stepping stone to jump to the far side. Beiyang and his companions were captivated by Zhu's actions, diligently recording the entire sequence. Beiyang anticipated that sharing this video in the burial area would cause quite a stir. On the other side, Zhu began channeling his star power, emanating a darker aura and an intense killing intent that even Beiyang could sense from a distance. Zhu then used chasing wind to distance himself further from the onlookers. One of Beiyang's companions suggested following Zhu to capture more footage, but Beiyang decided against it, suggesting they stop where they were. Meanwhile, at the burial area's airship terrace, people were abuzz with discussions about Haitian Company's airship and the various teams that were mobilizing. The scene changed to the rumored weapon department where Shen was located. His assistant entered his office and informed him that they had just received a notification that Yang Liu and Sea Dog had left. Shen simply commented, "Notification, never mind. You can leave for now." After she left, Shen remained deep in thought. He knew that some people were doubting his decisions. He thought to himself that Zhu's survival this time depended on his own actions. Zhu was determined to prove that Shen had made the right choices. Soon after, a fancy car arrived at Zhu's location. It was the masked martial artist who used his star power and swift sword skills to eliminate nearby zombies. He then began tracking Zhu. Meanwhile, Zhu reached level 80, unlocking a new skill. He mused, "With this skill, I can finally take on Yang Liu." He checked his communication device and noticed that Lei Hu had called him multiple times. Zhu called Lei Hu back. Lei Hu, relieved that Zhu finally picked up, informed him that Hai Tian and Yang Liu seemed to know his location. They had brought a group of people and left the city. Lei Hu explained that Hai Tian had gathered all 4 teams of Hai Tian Company, so Zhu needed to find a place to hide. Zhu couldn't help but wonder how they had discovered his location. Just then, a massive airship appeared in front of him. He told Lei Hu, "Looks like I don't have time to run or hide." Inside the airship, Hai Tian ordered the captain to activate all the cameras, intending to show everyone the consequences of provoking him. Hu Lei, the leader of the fire lava team, requested permission to attack first. Hu Lei and his men armed themselves with rocket launchers and aimed at Zhu. They launched rockets at him, but Zhu didn't even flinch. The armor he was wearing created a protective barrier around him. Hai Tian remarked, "I didn't expect this kid to have such good armor." He ordered his men to make Zhu dance. Zhu noticed a barrage of grenades being thrown at him. Explosions started happening all around him. Zhu used his chasing wind skill to evade the explosives. Hai Tian, driven by madness, ordered his men to continue throwing grenades at him. Then, Hai Tian grabbed a different type of grenade and hurled it at Zhu, causing a massive explosion. Despite the chaos, Zhu emerged from the smoke unharmed, carrying a metal launcher. Hai Tian was furious, demanding to know where Zhu had obtained such a weapon. Zhu wasted no time and fired 3 rockets from his launcher. Zhu managed to destroy their airship, engulfing it in flames. As the airship began to descend, the commotion from the explosives attracted a horde of zombies. Hai Tian ordered his teams to ready their weapons for battle. Zhu calmly stated, "The great show is at the end." As the airship descended, Beiyang and his companions were present, capturing the spectacle on film. Beiyang was thrilled to film such a rare and explosive scene. One of his companions noted that it was getting dark and asked if they should return to Beibu town. Beiyang replied, "With a scene like this, how often do we get such a chance?" He decided that they would stay awake and spend the night there. Meanwhile, Yang Liu was busy killing the zombies in the vicinity. He instructed the other teams to retreat, fearing that the noise would attract even more dangerous poison zombies. They rushed into a nearby ruined building. Once they were safely inside, they set up a fire. Hai Tian was furious about their current situation. Yang Liu remarked, "We underestimated Zhu, but the more challenging it gets, the more interesting, don't you think?" On the other side, Zhu was observing them carefully. He checked the time on his watch. It was 19:30. He entered stealth mode and silently approached the guards nearby. 2 guards were chatting about where Zhu had obtained the metal launcher. The other guard commented on Zhu's armor, identifying it as Zhu Lai Equipment Store's secret weapon. As they continued talking, both guards suddenly felt a chilling presence behind them. Zhu swiftly moved behind one of them and whispered, "Farewell." In an instant, he eliminated both guards. Later on, Hai Tian and Yang Liu arrived at the scene where the guards had been killed. Yang Liu remarked, "One rank 11 and one rank 10, killed instantly without making a sound." Hai Tian inquired if it could be Zhou Zheng, to which Yang Liu responded, "In a place like this at night, I wouldn't dare to wander around." He ordered the other guards there to remove the corpses and deploy more patrols. Meanwhile, 4 guards were nearby, and Hao Zai asked them if they had heard whether it was a ghost that killed Lao Zheng. Another guard chimed in, calling Hua Zai a coward despite being a rank 11 martial artist. He scoffed at the idea of ghosts being responsible, but before he could finish speaking, he was stabbed by a sword. In a bizarre turn of events, all the guards began attacking each other with their own swords. One of them, as he lay dying, wondered why he couldn't speak or control his body. Unbeknownst to them, Zhu was in stealth mode nearby. He commented, "You guys are so unlucky." He revealed that he had used his new skill, Disturbance, which immobilized the targets and put them in a non-controlled state for 15 seconds. There was also a 10% chance that the targets would attack each other. The skill could affect up to 5 targets and had a cooldown of 3 minutes. The next morning, Haitian was furious, ordering his guards to search the area and find Zhu. He then turned to Yang Liu and asked why he hadn't asked Special Envoy Luo to confirm Zhou Zheng's location. Yang Liu pondered for a moment and admitted, "It seems like this Zhou Zheng is far more dangerous than I imagined. I underestimated him." He agreed to contact Luo for assistance. Little did they know, Zhu was above them, listening to their conversation. He now understood how they could locate him, thanks to the involvement of Special Envoy Luo. Later on, Haitian's teams and Yang Liu were in hot pursuit of Zhu as Luo Tian had pinpointed his location. Yang Liu closed in on Zhu from behind, but Zhu swiftly used his chasing wind skill to put some distance between them. Yang Liu, infuriated by this, channeled his star power to increase his speed and executed a high jump, leaping over the zombies in front of him as he followed Zhu. Meanwhile, the masked man was observing the chase. He commented, "I thought Yang Liu would be enough to deal with Zhu, but now it seems hard to predict who will come out on top." Zhu's chasing wind effect was about to expire, and there were no zombies ahead for him to teleport to. He spotted a building and, despite having a bad feeling about it, decided to enter. Seconds later, Yang Liu arrived in front of the same building. When Haitian's men attempted to enter it, Yang Liu stopped them, saying, "This building's aura is strange." Inside, Zhu also sensed an eerie presence. As he ventured further, he discovered a giant zombie sleeping, emitting a powerful aura. Zhu wondered, is it evolving? He took out his communication device and snapped a picture of the evolving zombie, speculating that it might be a king-rank poison zombie. Zhu continued to capture various images of the creature. Half an hour passed, and Haitian grew impatient, exclaiming, "Why hasn't he come out yet, this bastard?" Yang Liu, overhearing this, was angered and confronted Haitian, demanding to know who he was calling a bastard. Haitian clarified that he wasn't referring to Yang Liu and suggested sending a few people in to check. Yang Liu weighed the situation, realizing that they had been waiting for a long time and Zhu hadn't emerged. He agreed to send people in, but only those who were agile and fast. 4 individuals were chosen to enter the building. As they ventured inside, they all began to feel a chilling presence, courtesy of Zhu's disturbance skill. After some time, Zhu left one man alive. When the survivor regained consciousness, he was horrified and rushed out of the building, screaming about a ghost. He approached Yang Liu, terrified. Yang Liu instructed him to calm down and provide a coherent explanation. The man then informed him that everyone inside the building had died. He had suddenly felt dizzy, and when he regained his senses, everyone else was already dead, just like the previous incident. After dealing with the men, Zhu returned to where the evolving zombie was located. He realized the potential danger if the zombie completed its evolution, possibly causing harm to the burial area. Determined to stop its evolution, Zhu decided to unleash all of his skills, Flash Slash, Dual Slash, and Backstab. However, none of these skills had any effect on the evolving zombie. Zhu muttered, "So crazy, its HP recovers too fast. My damage can't even touch it." With a sense of urgency, Zhu retrieved numerous bombs from his inventory and placed them near the zombie. He lit the fuses and quickly exited the building. In midair, Yang Liu taunted him, saying, "Finally couldn't bear it and decided to come out." In response, Zhu executed a Flash Slash combo, instantly teleporting behind Yang Liu and leaving him bewildered. Zhu then used Chasing Wind to create distance between them. As Yang Liu turned to order his men to pursue Zhu, a massive explosion rocked the building. The explosion was powerful enough to demolish the entire structure. The masked martial artist watched the spectacle in silence, while Bei Yang and his companions were excitedly filming the scene. One of Bei Yang's friends commented, "Such a huge scene. If we share this video, it will shock the entire burial area." Bei Yang agreed, saying it was worth the risk to get closer. Yang Liu praised Zhu, acknowledging his skills. Zhu emerged from the smoke, thanking Yang Liu for the compliment. Yang Liu channeled his star power and asked if Zhu was done running. Confidently, Zhu responded, "Why should I run?" Just as Haitian was about to give orders, the evolved poison zombie emerged. The zombie unleashed a powerful roar and pounced on one of Haitian's men, delivering a lethal blow. As Yang Liu tried to move back, Zhu, with lightning speed, injured Yang Liu's face. Zhu declared, "Yang Liu, today, only one of us can leave here alive." Yang Liu responded confidently, "Then it's definitely going to be me." The zombie's attention shifted to Yang Liu, who realized that he had nearly fallen for Zhu's trick and couldn't waste any more time. Seizing the opportunity, Zhu closed the distance and used both blind and stun skills on Yang Liu. Zhu remarked, 3 seconds should be enough for you." The zombie approached the blinded and stunned Yang Liu, launching a powerful attack that sent him flying into another building. Coughing, Yang Liu struggled to recover. The zombie attacked once more, but Yang Liu channeled his star power through his body, managing to block the zombie's assault. Zhu observed Yang Liu's strength, recognizing him as a rank 15 martial artist and thinking, "So strong. Luckily I didn't face you head-on." Yang Liu increased his star power, forcing the zombie's hand away from him. Consequently, Yang Liu's rank rose from 15 to 16 as a martial artist, and the color of his star power changed from orange to red. It was a testament to how high-level martial artists could advance faster when facing life-threatening situations. Yang Liu, exhilarated by his newfound martial artist rank, was jubilant over his increased power. He dashed towards Zhu, but the evolved zombie intervened, striking Yang Liu mid-air. When Yang Liu regained his footing, he realized he couldn't face the evolved zombie head-on. Seizing the opportunity, Zhu swiftly moved behind Yang Liu. Yang Liu pondered how Zhu had managed to appear behind him. He questioned whether Zhu had knowledge of stealth, but he couldn't fathom how a human could possess such abilities. Yang Liu attempted to counterattack with a sword swing, but Zhu effortlessly evaded it. Then, Zhu used his disturbance skill on Yang Liu, stating, "Before you meet your end, I can't leave." Yang Liu found himself immobilized as Zhu taunted him, saying, "Enjoy it, Lord Liu." In that moment, Zhu disappeared, and the evolved zombie launched a powerful attack on Yang Liu. The zombie then seized Yang Liu's body and ended his life. The scene shifted to the rumored weapon department, where Shen received a notification that Yang Liu, with the code 43, had perished. Everyone present was shocked to hear that a special envoy had died. Lei Hu and Zai, however, were elated that Zhu had succeeded and was still alive. The masked man observed, "This Zhou Zheng isn't as simple as he looks. From Y City to Titan City, he consistently manages to survive until the end. This can't be just luck." He continued, "I need to plan carefully." Meanwhile, Hai Tian contacted Special Envoy Luo Tian and implored him for help, saying, "You're the only one who can save me." Luo Tian responded, "Tell me how Yang Liu died." Riding his cow armor, Zhu returned to the city and couldn't help but sense that something about the city's atmosphere felt peculiar. He soon caught wind of the commotion. People were discussing his encounter with Yang Liu and his subsequent demise. Zhu reflected, "I killed Yang Liu. This news has already spread throughout the burial area." Then it struck him that his communication device had been closed. Retrieving his communication device, he realized that he had a backlog of messages waiting for him. Later, Zhu paid a visit to Shen in his office. Shen praised him, saying, "Zhou Zheng, as expected, you didn't disappoint me." Zhu responded, expressing his surprise at Yang Liu's pursuit, saying, "Yang Liu brought people to hunt me. Something this big. Brother Shen, you didn't inform me beforehand." Shen explained the situation, saying, "That's why I called you here. Take a look at this." He handed Zhu the authority document of Hai Tian Company. Zhu was taken aback and questioned, "Isn't Hai Tian Company Sea Dog's company?" "I didn't kill him." Shen continued, "Hai Yang Company relied heavily on Yang Liu. According to an unwritten rule, you killed him, so now you're the successor." Zhu realized he had become the CEO of Hai Yang Company and pondered the concept of the strong feasting on the weak. Shen confirmed that when someone is killed, their assets follow the same fate. Shen then disclosed an important detail. There was a rank above the expert rank known as the War God rank. Zhu was slightly confused and asked Shen about the War God rank. Shen explained that it was an internal rank, and the top 10 experts held this prestigious title. Luo Tian, for instance, was part of the War God rank, ranking 8th among the top 10, and also served as the third area's mayor. Zhu was unfamiliar with the term mayor and admitted, "This is my first time hearing about such a position." Shen handed Zhu a map and explained that the burial area was divided into 50 areas. Each mayor enjoyed 50% of their area's tax revenue. However, Area 47 didn't have a new mayor for some reason. Shen felt that Zhu is now qualified for the role. Consequently, Zhu not only acquired Hai Tian Company but also became the mayor of Area 47. After his long journey, Zhu returned to his Hai Yang building. The workers there greeted him warmly, addressing him as the special envoy. One of them informed Zhu that in the future, the Hai Yang building would become one of the best hotels in the burial area. Zhu expressed his gratitude and encouraged them to keep up the good work. He then took the elevator to reach his room. When the elevator doors opened, Zhu found Shihan already inside. She hugged him tightly, tears streaming down her face. Zhu apologized, and she began hitting him while calling him a jerk. His wounds began to ache, and she asked if he was alright. Zhu reminded her that she was also a martial artist and needed to control her strength when hitting someone. She then grabbed Zhu and helped him walk. Zhu jokingly told her that he didn't care today and said, "If I don't get 10 kisses, my wounds won't heal." Shihan responded with a playful scold, "It's your fault for not contacting me for so long." They both went to their room together, sharing a warm and affectionate moment. The next day, Zhu and Shihan went to his Hai Tian Company office building. There, Zhu addressed all the responsible individuals and made a significant announcement. He stated, "From today onwards, I'll take over this company, and within one day, I want to reorganize Hai Tian Company." The responsible individuals were shocked by this news and questioned the feasibility of changing everything in just one day. The previous Hai Tian Company general manager, Zhu Yang, remained silent. Zhu proceeded to explain the changes. Firstly, the company's name would be changed to Hai Yang Organization. Secondly, the positions within the company would remain the same. Thirdly, he planned to disband and reorganize the security department. Zhu Yang, terrified by these changes, began contemplating the significance of disbanding the security department. He recognized that it had been the core of Hai Tian Company, with tens of thousands of martial artists serving as its backbone. Zhu Yang reflected on Zhou Zheng's courage, as he had identified Hai Tian's issues at a glance. Over the years, Hai Tian's reputation had suffered, and a fresh start could potentially rejuvenate the company. Zhu assured everyone that there was no need to panic and that those who passed his test could stay. He also announced a 20% salary increase for the staff who remained. Additionally, he introduced Ding Shihan, stating that she would replace him when he was absent and could exercise the authority of the president. Later, Zhu Yang was assigned to stay in the CEO office, where he nervously contemplated the situation. He acknowledged that Special Envoy Zhu was an expert who didn't have the time to manage the company. He wondered if Zhu's girlfriend, Shihan, possessed the capability to handle the company. Shihan reassured him, acknowledging his abilities, and revealed that Zhu and she had decided to promote him to vice president and general manager. Zhu Yang was taken aback by the promotion. Shihan emphasized that the future of Hai Yang organization would rely on his hard work and that of others. She handed him a project book and informed him that if he had a new plan, he could bring it to her for approval. As Zhu Yang left the office, he wondered if he was dreaming. But he realized that Special Envoy Zhu had created this dream that motivated people. Shihan, now alone in the CEO's office, playfully commented, "So heartless, he gave me such a mission and suddenly ran off." She entered a playful yet annoyed state, calling Zhu a jerk and threatening to beat him up when he returned. Zhu ventured into his newly acquired Area 47 and was taken aback by the poor state he found it in. He commented, "Even though most people here are involved in agriculture, the environment is quite harsh." As he explored the area, he came across a mother and her daughter, Yao Yao. Yao Yao expressed her desire to eat meat, but her mother sadly explained that it was a luxury only rich people could afford. Yao Yao asked why they couldn't earn money to buy it, prompting her mother to tearfully apologize and promise that once they became wealthy, she would buy lots of meat for her. Yao Yao wiped away her mother's tears and reassured her, expressing her belief that her mother would make more money in the future. Just then, Zhu appeared and gave Yao Yao some meat. He told Yao Yao and her mother to live well, assuring them that the future of this place would be brighter than what they currently saw. Grateful, Yao Yao and the meat vendor thanked Zhu for his kindness. As time passed, the news spread that Special Envoy Zhou Zheng had become the mayor of Area 47, and people were shocked by his initial policy. In Area 47, the guards instructed people to queue up in an orderly fashion. Zhu's first policy in the area was simple. As long as residents were registered in Area 47, everyone could receive 5 katas of fresh meat and a bag of salt. The people were overjoyed, finally able to enjoy a proper meal. Zhu made his way to the Area 47 office and questioned the responsible individuals about how they had managed the area in the past. He assured them that he wouldn't hold them accountable for the previous state of affairs but firmly declared that everything would change from that day onward. The responsible individuals were afraid and remained speechless. Zhu, visibly upset, exclaimed, "Slum, an unmanaged area. That's the new title you guys gave to Area 47. With a determined expression, he stood up and declared that within the next 3 days, he wanted to witness a transformation in Area 47, emphasizing that he wanted to see a clean and improved Area 47. No one dared to utter a word. Zhu then called Shihan and inquired about the situation in the company. She informed him that they had established a new security team and that the number of members, including those who had stayed before and passed an exam, had reached 5,000 people. Shihan expressed her curiosity about the situation in Area 47. To which Zhu responded that perhaps his heart hadn't become as cold-blooded as some martial artists. He explained that as members of the same race, they had all experienced the apocalypse, and he couldn't bear to see them suffer while he enjoyed. Shihan asked how much change Zhu could bring about, to which he reassured her, saying, "It's okay, even a slight change is good." In response, Shihan pledged her support and declared that she didn't care how others perceived him. Zhu reciprocated by emphasizing that just because others were cold-blooded didn't mean she had to be as well. He believed that normal people could bring warmth to the world. The next day, Zhu used an airship to find a suitable location for grinding. He informed the captain of the ship that they could stop there. With his flying wings ready, he took off after bidding farewell to the captain and the crew, wishing them a safe journey back. Unbeknownst to Zhu, the masked man was following him from a distance. He dashed towards the forest where Zhu was heading. As Zhu checked his communication device, he learned that he had arrived in a place called C-118 area, known as the White Hideous Forest. Zhu began preparing himself, realizing that after reaching level 80, the experience points needed to level up had become substantial, making it even harder to increase his martial level. He recollected how Yang Liu had ranked up previously, mentioning that squeezing the potential of one's life was the fastest way for a martial artist to level up. However, he acknowledged that most martial artists wouldn't take such a risky path. With an evil smile, Zhu opened his system inventory, saying, "But I'm different. I've got enough HP potions." Using his stealth ability, Zhu ventured deeper into the White Hideous Forest, where he encountered several rank 13 White Hideous tigers. Zhu successfully passed by them using his stealth. In front of him, there was a massive tangle of vines that caught his attention. He noticed that the tigers were afraid of this place, but it seemed strangely familiar to him. Curious, Zhu stepped onto one of the vines, and to his surprise, the vines immediately attacked him. Zhu skillfully used his chasing wind ability to dodge their attacks. He continued running until he spotted a cave entrance. With its small entrance, the vines couldn't reach Zhou, so he jumped inside and summoned his elf bow to start shooting at the vines. Zhou realized that he could deal more damage to the vines using the elf bow, possibly due to its penetration value of 5 complex metal. After 3 hours of continuous fighting, Zhou was exhausted but satisfied. He remarked, "Awesome. 3 vines gave me 60% of the experience needed to level up." He raised his bow again and resolved to work even harder, knowing that leveling up wouldn't be a challenge. Meanwhile, the masked martial artist was nearby, having lost track of Zhu's location. He wondered where Zhu had disappeared to. Suddenly, a white hideous tiger attacked the masked martial artist from behind, but he swiftly killed it. Finally, after a week of intense training and combat, Zhu emerged from the cave, having reached level 85. He unlocked a new skill called Death Harvest, which was a level 85 skill that dealt 2 times 120% damage to all surrounding targets within 15 meters and added 250 additional damage, with a 1-minute cooldown. Zhu activated his stealth mode and began walking, realizing that he needed to change his farming spot since the experience gained from the vines had decreased. Returning to the area where the white hideous tigers were, Zhu contemplated that he could use these tigers to increase his martial artist rank and needed to find a way to lure one out. Spotting 2 distracted tigers, Zhu seized the opportunity and approached the one eating alone. He summoned his elf bow and shot at it, capturing the tiger's attention and prompting it to chase him. Zhu kept running until he had distanced himself from the other tigers. Then, he stopped and told the pursuing tiger, "Let's begin training." After 3 hours of intense combat, Zhu had only managed to inflict slight damage to the tiger. He remarked, "If it weren't for those potions, I would have died." Exhausted, Zhu decided to take a break. Zhu reached into his bag and pulled out a piece of meat. The white hideous tiger immediately caught a whiff of the meat and started behaving friendlier. Zhu was surprised by the tiger's sudden change in behavior. The tiger approached Zhu, who mused, "It seems like it really wants to eat this meat badly." Zhu decided to toss the meat to the tiger, and the tiger eagerly opened its mouth to devour it. Curious about taming beasts, Zhu called Shihan and asked if there were methods other than secret medicine, such as using food. Meanwhile, the masked martial artist continued to track Zhu as he ventured deeper into the forest. Zhu gave the tiger another large piece of meat, and as the tiger enjoyed its meal, Zhu noted its substantial appetite. Eventually, the tiger allowed Zhu to approach and even hugged him, signaling that Zhu had successfully tamed it. Zhu added the tiger to his pet inventory system and resummoned it, giving it the name Zhou Zheng. He climbed onto Zhou Zheng's back and started riding him through the forest. As they journeyed together, Zhu took a moment to call someone in Saibu town and inform them that he would arrive in about an hour, requesting a room to be prepared. Just as Zhu was about to say something to his tiger, he noticed an HP bar nearby. Concerned that someone might have been following him, he put Zhou Zheng into his inventory and entered stealth mode, wondering how this person had pinpointed his exact location. He contemplated the possibilities, eliminating the idea of it being Luo Tian since he believed that Luo Tian wouldn't personally come to hunt him down. Quietly, Zhu approached the source of the HP bar from behind, only to discover that it was the masked martial artist. The masked martial artist, Zhang Ning, noticed that Zhu had disappeared from his satellite communication device. Zhu realized that Zhang was also an expert rank, allowing him to track and follow Zhu. He saw Zhang Ning's sword badge, which bore the Dark Shadow's mark. Zhu remembered that all the Dark Shadow members had been sent to kill him in the past but had failed. His thoughts turned to his father, as they were responsible for his death. Fueled by rage, Zhu declared that they had a debt to settle. Zhu deactivated his stealth mode, and Zhang sensed a presence nearby. He swiftly turned and unleashed a powerful ranged attack with his sword. Zhu managed to dodge the attack and hid in a bush, hoping that Zhang wouldn't detect his stealth skill. Zhang, however, remarked that within 20 meters, Zhu was the first one he hadn't discovered yet, noting his rapid improvement to rank 8 peak. He was determined that today would be the day Zhu met his end. Zhu questioned Zhang's sanity for thinking he could kill him, but Zhang launched a sword attack at Zhu. Zhu evaded the attack and used the blind skill to blind Zhang. He then immobilized Zhang with the disturbance skill. Zhu applied poison to his dagger using the embedded poison skill and struck Zhang with a dual slash attack. Although the attack destroyed Zhang's mask, it had no other effect on him. Zhu tried another attack, but Zhang's HP bar didn't budge, realizing that he couldn't penetrate Zhang's defense. Zhu had only 10 seconds left for the disturbance skill and needed to find a way to defeat him. Zhu attempted to use the weak point scan skill, but it didn't reveal any weak points on Zhang's body. Zhu couldn't believe that even Zhang's eyes were so resilient. He tried to target Zhang's eyes, but it had no effect either. Zhu concluded that, as expected of an expert rank, even his eyes were tough to penetrate. With no other option, Zhu decided to retreat. He used the chasing wind skill to create distance between himself and Zhang, summoned his tiger Zhou Zheng, and fled. Zhang, now back in control, was furious and channeled his massive star power, vowing to kill Zhu. 1 week later, Zhang's leader contacted him to assess the outcome of his mission. Zhang asked for another chance, and the leader reluctantly agreed, stating that it would be his last opportunity. If he failed again, they would consider someone else for the task. During this time, Zhu visited Shen and had been training diligently for the entire week, successfully reaching rank 9 as a martial artist. Shortly after Zhu's arrival, Shen assigned him another mission. Shen then contacted Xiao Jianliang, the leader of the hunt team, and instructed him to let Zhou Zheng join the team for an upcoming mission. Jianliang agreed and told Zhu to report to Building 1 of Aviation Plaza the following day. After securing Zhu's place in the hunt team, Shen reminded Zhu that his success in the team depended on his own efforts. Zhu assured Shen that he wouldn't let him down. Later, Zhu returned to the abandoned warehouse where he had left the dragon egg to hatch. He realized that the egg had shown no signs of progress, and he suspected that it might need more star power to hatch. Zhu retrieved a purple crystal from his inventory and offered it to the egg. The egg responded by accepting the crystal and then eagerly accepted more. Zhu was both relieved and saddened that he had found a way to hatch the egg, even if it meant sacrificing precious resources. The next morning, one of the hunt team members, Yun Dongwei, who held the rank of war god, made a grand entrance riding a bear. Onlookers marveled at his unusual mode of transportation and discussed his impressive rank. Meanwhile, Zhu was nearby, quietly observing and realizing that the hunt team was comprised of formidable martial artists. He acknowledged that for this mission, he might not be able to contribute much but was eager to test his new weapon, which was contained in a case from Zhu Lai Equipment Store. At Building 1 of Aviation Plaza, the members of the hunt team assembled for their mission. Liu Tian, their leader, was also present. Liu Tian expressed his disapproval of newcomers being late, but Qin Han, a martial artist with only one eye, defended Zhu, mentioning his remarkable progress from rank 7 to rank 9 in just 1 month. He questioned whether any of them could achieve the same. As Qin Han continued to speak, Zhu entered the room and greeted the team. After boarding the airship for their mission, Jianliang, the leader, reminded everyone of the rules. He emphasized the importance of unity, first, second, and always. Jianliang was aware of Zhu's grudge against Liu Tian due to a past incident. So, he approached Zhu and said, "I don't care about your backgrounds or any personal grudges. If anyone breaks the rules, there will be consequences." The leader activated his communication device to initiate the mission. Upon completion, they were all shocked because this mission exceeded their usual ranks, and it was chosen by Shen. Qin Han asked Zhu if he had offended leader Shen, as this was an unusually challenging mission. The martial artist wearing glasses mentioned that 3 days ago, a rank 18 mutated beast was discovered, which they never expected to be tasked with hunting. Jianliang encouraged them not to complain, reminding them that they could enjoy authority and privileges, but they should also be ready to contribute when needed. Jianliang then handed out a set of cards and asked everyone to fill out their rank, armor, and weapon preferences to understand their specialties. When he gave Zhu his card, he added, "You don't need to worry too much since your level is low, and you might not be very useful on this mission. Just focus on surviving." Zhu, although feeling underestimated, thanked Jianliang for his concern. Once they arrived at the mission area, they quickly set up a tent, and Jianliang announced that this would be their camp. The mission was to deal with a formidable rank 18 mutated beast known as the Sword-Sharp Spider King. Dongwei warned them that mishandling this mission could lead to a horde of beasts in the area. Jianliang shared information that indicated the Spider King was roaming around Rong City. He then explained that he needed a few volunteers to venture deep into the city center and pinpoint its exact location. When Jianliang asked for brave volunteers, everyone hesitated and looked afraid. Jianliang expressed his frustration, remarking that they all seemed to turn mute when he needed them the most. However, Zhu raised his hand and said, "Count me in." Seeing Zhu volunteer, Dongwei followed suit, and eventually, everyone else volunteered as well. Jianliang thought to himself that he had initially considered asking Zhu to leave, but in this situation, it was evident that he couldn't. They headed to the city center to locate the Spider King. Zhu used his stealth skills and observed the Spider King attacking a mutated eagle, capturing it with its webs, and injecting it with poison, killing it. Zhu also noticed some regular sword-sharp spiders nearby and thought, "I need to inform the team and get them here quickly." As the eagle's corpse fell, Zhu collected it and placed it in his inventory system. While doing so, the Spider King attacked him from behind, but Zhu managed to dodge it. Despite being in stealth mode, the Spider King had somehow sensed him. Without wasting any time, Zhu hurried back to the campsite. After Zhu rejoined the group, Jianliang informed them that they had encountered some trouble on their way there. He asked Zhu if the Spider King was still in the area. Qin Han mentioned that, on their journey, they had faced numerous waves of mutated beasts and commended Zhu for returning alone. Zhu modestly replied, "I'm probably just lucky." Jianliang then informed them that they had 5 hours until nightfall and needed to eliminate the Spider King before then. He assigned the task of dealing with the Spider King to himself and Dongwei, while the others would engage the normal spiders. Jianliang ordered Zhu to keep watch and not participate in the battle. Qin Han patted Zhu on the shoulder and suggested, "Let's decide it this way. You can temporarily command us from above." The martial artist with glasses pointed out that with Zhu's rank, it would be suicidal for him to fight. Liu Tian added, "Since it's a hunt, we should treat each other as equals." Zhu was deemed fit to join the hunt team, so he's strong enough. He questioned Jianliang, "Why let him take up a slot without contributing?" Jianliang, frustrated, asked Liu Tian if he was questioning his decision. With that, they all leaped into action, leaving Zhou to watch from above. While the others were engaged in battle with the normal spiders, the Spider King suddenly appeared. Jian Liang instructed Dong Wai to work with him. They managed to dodge the Spider King's initial attack, but when they tried to get closer, it forcefully pushed them away. Jian Liang, infuriated by the spider's attack, channeled his star power and dashed towards the Spider King. However, the spider shot a web of silk at him. Jian Liang blocked the attack with his sword, but he couldn't move afterward. Dong Wai also rushed towards the Spider King, and together they fought against it. Meanwhile, Zhou, who was watching from above, commented on their lack of cooperation and teamwork. He thought that in a game dungeon raid, they would have been wiped out. Kinhan found himself fighting two normal sword-sharp spiders simultaneously. As he blocked one spider's attack, he exposed his back to the other, and it injured him. Kinhan noticed that his arm had been poisoned by their venom. The spider lunged at him again, and the poison was rapidly spreading through his body. Just as the spider was about to strike once more, Zhou intervened using the Chasing Wind skill, followed by the Disturbance skill. Zhou carried Kinhan and jumped through a nearby building's window, administering an antidote to counteract the poison. Kinhan was saved, and he expressed his gratitude to Zhou for saving his life and instantly curing the poison. Kinhan then decided to rejoin the battle but instructed Zhou to hide. However, Zhou felt it was not the right time to hide. He noticed that other team members were also poisoned and on the verge of death. Zhou rushed to them, providing antidotes and saving the injured on the ground. Realizing the dire situation, Zhou reached for his communication device and declared that he had no choice but to take command, treating it as if he were returning to a game. He asked to be made the leader again. When Shen heard Zhu's statement through the communication device, he ordered all the hunt team members to set their satellite communication devices to speaker mode and handed the hunt team leader's position to Zhou Zheng. Everyone was surprised by this sudden change. Zhou informed them that from now on, he would be commanding the fight. Through the communication device, Zhou informed them about the dire situation and the looming threat of death if they didn't change their approach. He asked everyone to believe in him and follow his commands. Zhou began laying out the plan. He started by assigning roles. Zhou told Zhang Han, "Your speed is faster. Replace Jian Liang and Dong Wai and install the sharp knife Spider King." Zhang Han hesitated at the deadly mission but agreed, acknowledging the effectiveness of Zhu's antidote. He dashed to where Jian Liang and Dong Wai were. Zhou then ordered Jian Liang and Dong Wai to retreat first and focus on eliminating the normal spiders, noting that they only needed 5 minutes to kill one. Jian Liang had initial doubts but eventually decided to follow Zhou Zheng's command, and they retreated as instructed. Zhou then directed Qin Han and Luo Tian to employ specific strategies to lure the remaining spiders into groups, while the rest of the team would team up to eliminate the lone spiders. Qin Han, Jian Liang, and Dong Wai carried out their assigned tasks. Dong Wai reflected on how following Zhu's commands had stabilized the team's tempo. Zhou updated them, stating that most of the spiders had already been killed and that they needed to finish off the rest. He instructed Kong Nanfei to assist Zhang Han and take a break. While observing from above, Zhou lamented the missed opportunity to gain experience points from the numerous spiders. Zhou retrieved his newly crafted bow and expressed his gratitude to Zhou Lai Company for creating Crimson Moon. He jumped down into the battlefield with Crimson Moon and started shooting arrows at the spiders, even though the damage dealt was relatively low. Zhou explained that the lower damage allowed him to gain experience points. As a spider attacked him, Zhou dodged it by jumping into the air. While airborne, he executed the combo Flash Slash, teleporting to the spider and striking it with his dagger. The team was shocked by Zhu's speed and power. Qin Han admitted that he had been worried about Zhou for no reason, acknowledging his strength. Dong Wai wondered if he would be able to dodge attacks like Zhou. Meanwhile, Zhou assured them to hang in there, emphasizing that victory was within reach. After they successfully eliminated all the normal spiders, only the Spider King remained. The King Spider lunged at Zhou, but Jian Liang intervened, blocking the attack. The rest of the team rushed to attack the spider, but it countered by shooting its silk web, ensnaring one of them. Then, it launched its venom towards the trapped team member. However, Zhou quickly intervened and saved his comrade. Zhou remarked that it was indeed a rank 18 king, and brute force wouldn't work. They needed to aim for weak spots. Zhou turned to Jian Liang and asked if he could hold the Spider King still. Can you target its weak spot? Jian Liang replied that if you could immobilize it, hitting its head wouldn't be a problem. Zhou corrected him, saying the weak spot wasn't the head but the neck. Using his skill weak point scan, Zhou assured Jian Liang of his certainty. Despite the one chance they had, Jian Liang trusted him. Zhou dashed towards the King Spider and used the Flash Slash combo to close the distance. Then, he used the stun skill to immobilize it. Zhou instructed Jian Liang and Dong Wai to attack while the Spider King was incapacitated. Just as the spider opened its mouth to release venom, Zhou used the disturbance skill to completely immobilize it. Jian Liang and Dong Wai stabbed the spider in its neck. The team was stunned by Zhu's ability to stop the King Spider. Zhou checked the time remaining for the disturbance skill and found there were 13 seconds left until it would wake up. He urged everyone to retreat. As they did, Zhou used the blind skill to blind the spider briefly, making it his puppet for a few seconds. The team successfully retreated to the top of a building. Jian Liang checked on everyone to ensure they were alive and was relieved to find all 19 members alive. Jian Liang began to realize he had underestimated Zhu and acknowledged that the mission's success and the team's survival owed much to him. Meanwhile, Zhu kept an eye on the king spider, noting its dwindling HP and its bleeding condition. After a few minutes, the king spider collapsed to the ground dead. This victory boosted Zhu to level 90, and the team celebrated their successful mission. While the others celebrated, Zhu focused on opening his system reward for reaching level 90, which granted him an item called the Ring of Rebirth. This special ring offered a 20% chance of reviving on the spot with 5 seconds of invincibility upon death. Zhu equipped the ring immediately. When Qin Han called out to him, Zhu explained that he was inspecting something. They proceeded to loot the king spider and the corpses of the normal spiders to see what valuable items they could obtain. After the successful battle with the knife-sharp Spider King, they collected various valuable items from the creature, including its foot, shell, poison gland, and a black crystal. That night, they returned to their campsite, where they lit a fire. They began distributing their loot, and the leader asked if anyone had objections. No one raised any objections. Jian Liang acknowledged Zhu Zheng's significant contribution to the battle and suggested that Zhu should take the extra loot. Everyone agreed, but Zhu humbly proposed that they split the extra rewards evenly. As the night grew darker, Zhu examined his skill tree and discovered an old skill he had acquired upon reaching level 10 called Critical. This skill allowed him to deal critical damage, causing 500% skill damage and 5,000 damage, with a 10% chance of triggering another critical hit. While Zhu was absorbed in this, Luo Tian approached him. Luo Tian, aware that he might be a target of Zhu's for what he had done, gathered his courage and, while trembling and afraid, told Zhu that when they returned, he would make Hai Tian go to the Haiyang building to apologize to him. Zhu agreed to this arrangement. The following morning, the hunt team returned to the burial area with their airship, where they were greeted warmly by the people for their successful mission. In his office, Shen called his second brother, Yang, and praised Zhu's abilities. Yang agreed, acknowledging Zhu's strength and noting that half of the martial artists in the hunt team had been saved by him. Shen expressed his concern that it might be luck, but Yang insisted that Zhu Zheng was indeed very strong and mentioned his desire to spar with him. Shen cautioned his brother not to do so, as his position as the burial area's parliament speaker might intimidate many people if word got out. Yang suggested they go visit Zhu, mentioning his imminent departure. As they walked, Yang remarked that the beast horde they faced this time was particularly fierce, and they needed to cut off the source to prevent further trouble. Shen advised him to be careful during this mission, as it seemed like a horde of beasts was approaching the city. The scene transitioned to the hunt team's airship as it landed. As they disembarked, people in the area began requesting the signatures of the team members to commemorate their successful mission. Then, Shen and Yang arrived, and all the attention shifted toward them. Yang referred to the hunt team as the heroes of the burial area, and his gaze fell upon Zhu. Yang observed the young Zhu and reflected on his achievements, noting that he was already a rank 9 martial artist. He recognized Zhu's immense potential, believing that he had a promising future ahead of him. At a meeting of the higher-ups in the burial area, a hologram in the middle of the table displayed Zhu's picture. Yang asked if anyone opposed his suggestion to elevate Zhu Zheng to the rank of a war god. Kai Zhaiyang objected, arguing that Zhu was only a rank 9 martial artist and questioned why he deserved to be a war god. Yang then began reading information about Kai Zhaiyang, highlighting his questionable behavior and actions, such as indulging in wine, food, and pursuing romantic interests. He even mentioned Kai Zhaiyang's use of his war god rank identity to mistreat others. Kai Zhaiyang was left speechless. Yang then called for a vote, asking those in favor to raise their hands. Jian Liang and Qin Han, who were also present at the meeting, voiced their support for Zhu Zheng becoming a war god. Jian Liang stated that, compared to some fat pig that has big ears, he believed Zhu Zheng was more qualified for the rank. Qin Han concurred, and both of them raised their hands in approval. Kai Zhaiyang, still upset, dismissed their agreement but didn't challenge those specific aspects of the discussion. Yang intervened, saying that it wasn't just the two of them who agreed. He himself was in favor of making Zhu Zheng a war god, not to mention that the parliament speaker had the final say in such matters. However, he noted that the rules would remain the same and offered Kai Zhaiyang a chance to compete fairly with Zhu Zheng, to which Kai Zhaiyang agreed with an evil smile. Later on, people began discussing the new war god rank being held by a rank 9 martial artist, and some even mentioned that it was the famous Zhu Zheng. High above the city, Jiang Ning overheard this news while observing the city and commented that if that was the case, they might as well face their fate together. He also had a capsule that could summon a horde of zombies. Meanwhile, Zhu was engaged in a battle with vines and managed to reach level 99. He reflected on the challenges fame might bring, including unwanted attention and trouble. Determined to protect himself and those around him, he focused on leveling up quickly to reach level 100. Half a month later, Zhu achieved level 100 and became a rank 10 martial artist. With this achievement, he gained access to 2 new skills. The first was a level 95 skill that allowed him to create deadly poison using materials, with the poison's potency varying based on the materials used, and a cooldown of 24 hours. The second skill, a level 100 ability, allowed him to apply a layer of poison to his weapon, enabling poison attacks with a 30-minute cooldown. Zhou decided to use the poison gland he had obtained from the Spider King as a material to create a potent poison. He then applied this poison to his dagger using his new skill. The poison on his dagger was 15 times more effective and lasted for 30 minutes. He tested it on one of the vines, and the vine began taking significant damage. Zhou was impressed by the effectiveness of his newfound abilities, noting the remarkable HP deduction. The scene shifted to Yang, who was patiently waiting for the horde of beasts to arrive. After a few seconds, the horde appeared, and Yang noted the immense scale of the beast horde. He understood that the battle will be tough. Meanwhile, in Saibu town, Zhou was busy setting up a small store on the street. Suddenly, a short and beautiful girl approached and called out his name. Zhou was puzzled since he didn't recognize her. She introduced herself as Molan, a member of the Blue Leprechaun team. She asked if he had hunted and acquired some knife-sharp Spider King poison and inquired if he could sell it to her. Zhou questioned her motives and asked for a reason to consider selling his poison. Molan explained that she was researching a type of potion and lacked this particular poison to complete her work. She also requested a reasonable price. Zhou, with an evil smile, pondered that she might be an alchemist. He offered to provide her with the materials she needed for alchemy for free but requested that he would own the potions she created. Molan happily agreed and rushed off to create her potion. Zhou hoped she was reliable. Later, Lei Hu called Zhou to inform him that he had gathered the information Zhou had requested about Kai Zhaiyang. Zhou praised Lei Hu for his efforts. As Zhou continued his activities, two men walked by discussing who would win in the battle between Zhou and Kai Zhaiyang, who held the rank of God War. One of them believed that Kai Zhaiyang would win because, regardless of how strong Special Envoy Zhou was, he was still only a rank 9 martial artist. The two friends decided to place a bet on Kai Zhaiyang winning the battle. Taking matters into his own hands, Zhou called Shihan and asked her for assistance. He informed her about the bet between Kai Zhaiyang and himself and requested that she use her name to place a bet, wagering all his money on him winning the battle. Meanwhile, Kai Zhaiyang was relaxing at his building, sitting by a swimming pool and enjoying the company of a girl. He picked up his communication device and chuckled, questioning who would be crazy enough to bet on Zhou Zheng winning. He brushed off the idea, suggesting they find someone to test Zhou's strength first. In the Snake Valley, Zhou had been collecting poison for 2 weeks. Suddenly, he sensed someone approaching with lethal intent. It was an assassin sent by Kai Zhaiyang to test Zhou's abilities. The system revealed the assassin's name as Duo Lun, but his level remained unknown. Duo Lun drew his sword and called out to Zhou. Zhou was aware that Kai Zhaiyang had sent Duo Lun to kill him. Duo Lun identified himself as a member of the Dark Shadow organization and held the rank of Palace. Zhou assumed a fighting stance and asked if Duo Lun thought he could defeat him alone. Duo Lun was taken aback that Zhou knew his name. Before he could finish speaking, Zhou swiftly executed a flash-slash combo, injuring him. Duo Lun criticized the sneak attack but soon realized something was wrong with his body. Zhou had poisoned him during their encounter. Zhou began a countdown, and after a short while, Duo Lun collapsed dead. Zhou remarked that he had perished due to the poison of the rank 18 knife-sharp Spider King, considering it an honor. While searching Duo Lun's belongings, Zhou was coked to discover a capsule capable of summoning monster hordes. Shortly after, Molan contacted Zhou to inform him that her potion had been successfully concocted. Later, Zhou visited Molan's experimental lab, where she presented him with a yellow potion she had created. She named it the Berserk Potion, explaining that it could temporarily boost a martial artist's stats 3-fold for 15 minutes.